Hey guys, what's up? It is Umbra here today to talk to you about a couple of things. First of all, Global News Day, and secondly, something I want to talk about to do with Twitch and live streams and whatnot, because I would love some feedback. So before I talk about, the thing that everybody's here for, I'm just going to pose this question to people. Hey, dear viewer, I'm curious about a couple of things to do with live streams. Currently, I live stream on Twitch. The numbers on Twitch seem to be decreasing, and I'm curious, would you be interested in watching live stream on YouTube? Interested in some feedback from people. Also, is there particular days that you are more or less interested in? Of course, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to happen, because there has to be like a few different things that to more or less kind of coalesce for me to get this kind of stuff going. So it's not just as easy as like, hey, this is an immediate yes or an immediate no kind of thing. It's just me essentially like feeling around, seeing, because every once in a while it's worth updating my plan, updating what I think should happen kind of thing. So yeah, if you are interested, just please let me know in the comments below what you think, and hopefully I'll be able to come up with a, kind of a decent plan going forward to kind of make the channel a little bit better, or make stuff better. If there's stuff you would like to see on the channel, I have been playing around with a couple of things that I would like to do. I haven't landed on anything concrete yet, because still figuring out where I want to be. Anyway, so now that I've wasted 2 minutes of your life by asking for your brief help in a positive and constructive way, let's talk about this girl. All right, so Perine is a character that when Another Story 2 was announced on JP, I got really excited. I absolutely loved Perine's design. Like, originally I thought Rafu was going to be the first character and Perine was going to be a little bit later on. So when Perine was the first one, I got both excited and nervous. One, because obviously it meant getting her quicker, and that's always fun, right? Why wouldn't you want to have the best right away? But it did also make me nervous that I thought she was kind of weak, and that turned out to be somewhat true, and I should probably explain that a little bit. Like, the thing for a lot of what I discovered with Perine wasn't that she was bad. No, that wasn't like it at all. The big thing was that it was really way more of kind of what felt a little bit like underperforming. Like, she didn't feel like a warrior of the crystals, because when a lot of warriors of the crystals have come out over like a long period of time, they tend to be like meta changer. If you understand what I mean, like, effectively, a lot of the time it feels like they are so incredibly strong, so incredibly powerful, really quite game-changing in how good they can be. So Perine originally came out, and I felt that she kind of underperformed, which is both, how do I put this, fair and not fair. And the reason that I would say that it wasn't fair was just because it was like, I really had high expectations. Doom was an absolutely bomb of a tank. Astrius was incredibly meta-breaking. Varus turned out to be one of the best supports, and is still one of the best supports, if not the best support in the entire game. Okay, Renan is a little bit of a pass, and Satya was good for a while, until like fire kind of lagged behind as an element. So Perine came out and didn't feel like she was the most amazing character ever, and I actually kind of got a little bit sad at the time. Like, she was still strong and she still has good stuff in her kit, but it felt like stuff was still really seen, and wasn't super present in her kit. And that's the thing, like, it just doesn't feel overall that good. To put so much time and effort trying to get characters in Wotv and maximizing them, getting them to 120, and for them to kind of underperform. And I get that people are not happy about me, doing comparisons about their worst elements, but that's a measure of how great a character is. Because Wind, I will say this for the people in the back who seem to not give it, Wind has a distinctly good chance of beating Ice, an element that it does not have the best of matchups in or to. Like, Ice should be able to win, theoretically. But Perine threw across multiple different things. Fire was not super present at the time, and when fire did come back, it was kind of evasion, and water wasn't necessarily the best at dealing with evasion, which kind of felt, a little bit discouraging. And then sometimes he would just get picked off. Lightning ranged or lightning teams were very strong, and it didn't feel like she had the greatest matchups into earth, into dark, into light. Like, there were a lot of things that felt just like she was not suited. But since then, a lot has changed, and that's kind of the thing I want to get into. I don't want to focus too much on what I thought at the time, because despite how much I like Perine, he just didn't quite. He wasn't like the warrior crystals of old. But since then, there's been a lot of support in the terms of like VCs, and VCs with human killer on them, VCs that are very, very strong and powerful for fist users, and with more future fist users in the future, as well as things like Dark Bahamut, which, even if the Dark Bahamut card isn't a notable card for Perine, it is a absolutely amazing summon for her, because it's a very strong summon, and it's essentially like you can just build it to be like a physical based summon with human killer on it, which is great for her. Since then, like, job VCs for specifically like fists have gotten way better. Like, you think about Snow and you think about her, they synergize really well together. But in the future, there's also Alphonse, which just makes a really kind of tanky group of fist fighters. You can eventually go with Edward for a little more DPS, and this, out of all the job types, has the best, I would say, mono job vision cards. Like, yes, these vision cards are good on other characters, and the one that comes out shortly after her, somewhere right here it is. This one is another just pretty good one, because it gives reaction block and attack up and some AoE resistance, and again, works with a lot of different fist type units. So yeah, this is the thing to note, that I think that with the acquisition of vision cards and strike-based characters, it's a really strong team with a lot of durability, and I really like it. Do I think it is a be-all and end-all? No, but it is really good, and that is worth noting. And it works across multiple different characters with multiple elements, which makes it harder for your opponent to counter. And I have actually gone up against all fist teams in Arena, and those fist teams in Arena have caused me actually to lose, even with like a 140 Sephiroth and a 140 Majorina. I mean, like, it's hard to tell how many times the character has reincarnated when you just click in and just do the fight and then you lose. But it does happen. You do lose, and Perine does get her 140 relatively quickly on the JP side, so she'll also get that relatively quickly on the other side. But yeah, I think that, like, Rurugia, for example, has shown corner case uses, and that is a consideration for people in the future, because, what we have on JP, we can basically talk about. Like, Rurugia, I think with his, like, 140, he's gotten better, and he's definitely better with the stronger Earth characters that have shown up, like Bradley and whatnot. So that's really good. Rizzle is just really strong because wind is really strong, and you put a strong character with Flag Glassy plus a 140 tank, and wind is kind of scary right now. You look at, I guess he's called Veiga in Global, right? But I'm going to call him Vega because that's just the Japanese version that I know him by. Him with the Thunder element is probably going to be really, really strong. So it is this balancing act of these four in together and how they interact, because obviously it's almost like a kind of multi-counter thing where Rizzo counters Rurugia counters Veiga counters Perine, and then Perine counters, I don't know, maybe the Wind team. I actually haven't tried it yet because obviously my Perine has only stayed at 120, but I think that for people who are interested in it, a all fist based party is competitive to where we are on JP, but for globalers who are kind of interested in it, this is really a starting point, but a strong starting point. Like if you skip snow, I don't think it's necessarily the biggest deal because you can go Perine, then you can go the brothers to do with the Full Metal Alchemist collaboration. And I mean, Edward is effectively, you just have to build him sort of thing, because his first copy is free. And then you just need Alphonse, who is a great tank. And the other thing that's kind of missing from all of this is this VC. This VC is an 18% agility card, and yes, you can use it with spears, you can use it with other stuff, but again, this is another piece of the puzzle to making Strike really strong. Then you throw in like potentially a couple of Espers, including Chaos Bahamut, and you effectively have a really good party that is a really big blind spot in terms of resistances, because a lot of VCs nowadays focus on anti-slash, anti-range, anti-AoE, single target resistance, but very few focus on strike. So strike is kind of this wonderful thing that isn't thought of too much, and a cool little blind spot if you're looking to do something out of the ordinary and different from other players. And that is worth noting. So yeah, do I recommend Perine? Well, I recommend her for a very specific type of player. She's just generally strong for water into the future. Water does have two really good paths right now with the Amorous, Celeste, and Aerith combo, which I think is actually pretty good. I say pretty good because we are getting a brand new Thunder character this week, so we'll see. But into the future, water with Astrius and Perine is pretty good, as well as Amorous. That's just a strong combo as well. Her as a water elemental character, if I was to say for the future kind of thing, if you're someone who already has Astrius and Celeste, and you're looking at this versus this, this character is flat out stronger than Perine, in my opinion, because she has some things that Perine does, but better. She has AoEs that act as single target. I'm currently building her too. Of course, a water main user will love to get both of these units, but if you only had to choose one, I'm probably going to push more for this character because, again, she's also a permanent addition to the pool, which means if you don't have a ton of resources or you're saving resources for other stuff, this is just generally better kind of thing. If you're a water player with limited resources, I'd probably recommend that. If you're going the strike route, there really isn't much option, so you might as well just start here and get her, and she'll be a really great strike damaging character. I really like Perine for a lot of different reasons, but for the amount of limited and cost stuff in the future, won't be particularly that compelling. As for the whole fire thing, I mean, she does have a natural advantage against fire. Lightning, she has a disadvantage versus dark with Sephiroth. Again, more, I would say that she's generally stronger in a multi-elemental party than with a mono water party, but I haven't tried that since Astrius came along. Next up, to talk about Wind. I think Wind is still kind of a tough matchup, but she does have a little bit. It's just I've gotten charmed one too many times, and that felt bad. Next is versus Ice. Range has been particularly difficult in my opinion, and probably will continue to be a little bit difficult. I just haven't had good experiences with that. And I know I'm forgetting other ones. Light Evasion, again, probably you would need to tune her pretty hard towards accuracy to be able to fight that, but it's not. Light Evasion isn't that common anymore. Earth, probably pretty decent. So I think I've covered pretty much most of the matchups. Yeah, I think that Perine overall is kind of just a better strike character for the future, and Amneris is probably the 100 cost general water character that you're looking for the future. But he is strong. It's just, I don't know. It's not the same feeling if you get my drift of like Astrius versus her. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.